Got a pretty awesome roof rack on top. No tears in any of the seats. The other thing to watch out for with these unibodies is rust. When one Jeep leaves, another one takes its place. It's snowing on April 9th. Welcome to spring in North Idaho. So you may have noticed I've been posting a few videos with a different Jeep, and there's a few reasons behind that. First, the engine condition, which you've seen in the clips I just showed, but also our family's gotten to a point where we've kind of outgrown this Jeep. For a long time now, it's been where we could throw the two kids in the back, and then we could squeeze the dog in the front seat, and then me and my wife. With the addition of our newest daughter, we cannot do that anymore. The dog has to stay home, and it's a tight squeeze as it is. And we can't bring gear with us. We can't go camping if we want. Like, we can't really do much with this Jeep except just go out for a quick trip. It's plenty of fun to go out by myself. It's plenty of fun to get out in the mountains and explore an adventure. But there's a lot of times where I do want to go with the family, right? We want to bring everybody along on the adventure and have fun with everybody. And with this CJ5, it's just harder to do that, right? Another thing is it's not quite as comfortable. Obviously, it's 50 years old versus the newer Jeep is 30 years old, has better suspension, coils in the front. So it's just easier to get the family in the XJ and get up in the mountains as a group, which is also another benefit of upgrading to this newer Jeep. So those two things, the engine falling apart, I don't really have the time right now to rebuild an engine. I don't have I need something reliable, right? I've been using this as a daily driver, so I don't have the luxury of taking this engine apart and rebuilding it to fix it. And it definitely has some issues, right? It has compression issues. Cylinder 1 and 4 spark plugs are covered with oil, so it's either the valve guides or the piston rings, right? And I don't want to rebuild the engine right now, so we decided to go with selling this one and getting a new, bigger Jeep. And so that's why we have the XJ, the 1991 Jeep Cherokee that you've seen me post a couple videos of. So let's move on from this and we'll look at the Jeep XJ, the new to us Jeep Cherokee. So here it is, 1991 Jeep Cherokee, Jeep XJ. As you can see, it does stand a bit taller than the CJ5 over there. Previous owner said it has a 3-inch lift. I have not verified that. It does have 33-inch tires. And I can tell you it rubs when it flexes. That's something to deal with. I'll get to it when I can. It is in pretty good shape for a 30-year-old Jeep. Some might say it has high miles, but those who know the Jeep 4.0 know that 220,000 is really not unheard of. Really, these things have been known to go up to 300,000 without a hiccup. So I figured if I can get 300,000 out of this Jeep for the price we paid, I would be happy with that. I would say this is by no means a perfect Jeep, but to me that's good, right? I like to work on Jeeps. I like to tinker, right? There are things to work on, and of course it's a Jeep, so there's always something to improve and add on, right? So some of the things I did like about this when I was looking at the post, I like the bumpers that came with it. Good sturdy bumpers. I was actually in the process of replacing the bumpers on the CJ5 before we decided to sell it. This is also a winch bumper, so at some point I can get a winch and throw it in there. And it does have some great tires. I actually have had these tires on a previous truck. These are BF Goodrich KM2s. Got a lot of life on them. I actually, with that truck, was featured in a magazine, right? Maybe not for a good reason, but for a fun reason. And these tires pulled me through a lot of deep snow in that magazine. So you can see it does have a blue fender on it. It wasn't a fender bender, but the body is nice and straight. I've looked at it, looked over it. Nothing too serious. I also don't think it was too serious because really even the headlight is still cracked, but still intact. So it's nothing. Didn't get too deep into the body, that damage. Got a pretty awesome roof rack on top. Full coverage roof rack. Perfect for loading up our family camping gear, right? Again, another nice sturdy rear bumper. And here's our family storage space. This would be the dog spot. All right, so I'm back out here in the daylight to try and highlight some of the features of this Jeep a little better. One thing specifically I wanted to show you was the underbody. So if we look here, virtually rust-free, which is a great thing to see on these unibody Jeeps, right? It's also been coated with rubber underbody coating, so a previous owner took care of it, which is also good to know, right? The other thing I wanted to look at a little more in the daylight was the interior. I've got this crack here I kind of mentioned, something that I need to be careful about. I have seen some projects where people will actually run some bolts through there instead of this weld, which is the original way it was installed. So if we run some bolts through it with a plate behind it, maybe be a little more secure there. The interior is actually in really great shape. You can see the seats have no tears in them, maybe some minor stains. Door panels are all great, which is also something really good to see. Back seat even has been really well taken care of, crack free and everything. The headliner sags slightly, not too terrible. And the dashboard is actually in good shape too, nice and crack free, which is pretty good to see out of a 30-year-old Jeep. Then we got a 5-speed manual, which is rare in a XJ, I believe, but it's a good renowned transmission with the 4.0 motor. The back seat a little closer. No cracks or anything. Pretty sweet shape for a 30-year-old Jeep. Sad day. Saying goodbye to the CJ5. But when one Jeep leaves, another one takes its place. Thanks for watching. Make sure and like this video and subscribe to the channel to follow along with our family adventures.